So I got up early this morning, and I was sitting on the back porch of the house where we're staying. And if you look out over the pool from the back of the house, you can see the top of the tent for the reception tomorrow night. And I sat there and I thought, well, this is really happening. It's really here. This is really going to happen, because it's a weird deal, back in April or March, you say, well, the wedding's not till July 24th. Then it gets to be May, and the wedding's not till the end of July, and then even in like 4th of July weekend, the wedding's not till July 24th, and then suddenly it's here. And I was thinking about how that sort of acceleration of time occurs when you have different milestones. And it reminded me of, and those of us who are parents here at the table know that, when you're going to take your kid off to college, it's like, I have all summer to become emotionally ready for this. And then the next thing you know, you're standing in the dorm parking lot, saying goodbye. And that's a milestone, just like this. And I remember, which made me think back, I remember taking Lizzie to Swanee, Monique and I, and I had the whole summer to prepare for this emotional experience. And then next thing I know, I'm driving away, and I look in the rearview mirror, and Lizzie's standing in the parking lot staring at the car, and I swear to God, she looked like she was 9 years old. I'm like, this is terrible. You drive off and you try to maintain some semblance of manhood, but it's difficult. But in Lizzie's case, it was emotional, and Maggie and Jack, and we all know as parents, every kid, it's an emotional deal. It's just a little bit different, particularly your first. But just as Monique and I were sort of gathering ourselves emotionally after this, and we're back at home, it gets to be about, I swear, school hadn't been going on 30 days. And we get a call from Lizzie. I hate this place. I hate it. Can't stand it. I hate it. So some days she'd call Monique, some days she'd call me, some days she'd call both of us. And it was the same thing. Hated it socially, hated it academically. And Lizzie would call me at work, and we'd talk, and we'd unpack these things, and I'd give her some advice, and we'd move on. And then the next day it'd be, no, I hate this place. I hate this place. And so there got to be this theme developing that I could sense. And I thought to myself, we've talked through all this stuff, and it's now time to kind of be the dad. So I told her, one of our last calls, said, Lizzie, darling, you're going to have to figure this out. And I know you will figure it out. But let me be crystal clear. You are not coming home. And we'll talk about this at Christmas, but you are not coming home till Christmas. And when I was sitting out on the back porch today, I was thinking back about that, and I thought, that was some goddamn good parenting right there, Right, parents? That was pretty good. And then I sat there and I thought, it worked once, so Lizzie, you're going to have to figure this out. But let me make something crystal clear. You are not coming home till Christmas. All right? So, in all seriousness, I really want to thank Jessica for this beautiful party. And more importantly, I want to thank Jessica, the girls, their spouses, Aaron, Richard, Cameron, for welcoming Lizzie to your family and making her feel so welcome from the get-go. I mean, that was one of the first things Lizzie said when she and Neal hadn't been dating very long. And I want to thank Jessica and Dee for raising such a fine young man. He's smart, he's kind, he's thoughtful, and we are so happy to have him as a member of our family. So, real quick, to Lizzie and Neal. Here. So, cheers. Who gets it?
Well, we wanted to roast Neal, but he's just too damn nice. We had no stories. So I think most of you guys know us, but we are Neal's sisters. I'm Barrett. This is Megan and Meredith. So it's really hard. Sorry, we have it all written. We're very organized. So it's hard for us to believe that we're here tonight in this gorgeous setting on the eve of our little brother's wedding. Not so little anymore. As you can imagine, when Neal was born, it was a really big deal for us. He really rounded out our crew. He was sort of like very big, very bald, new sibling. Just really fat, really big, happy all the time. From the get-go, he was just 100% lovable, always. And he was happy to let us drag him around, literally, sometimes, dragging him around, as long as it didn't require him waking up too early, which he was never good at. He was mom and dad's blonde-haired, blue-eyed, roly-poly caboose. And he was adorable. He was, sorry, Lizzie, but his first true love was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was a serious situation. Out of control. So we'd like to apologize in advance if he wants to name your first kids Bebop and Rocksteady. Sorry, we just dropped that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles joke. Sorry, guys, if you're not in on it. It was a lot of years. We watched a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But seriously, he was a great sport about being raised by three sisters. And we would like to think that growing up with us had something to do with his keen fashion sense. I think we can all agree. Appreciation for strong, independent women. And never leaving the seat up. I'll take credit for that. Yeah. We shared a bathroom. So as Neal grew up, his sweet demeanor stuck. I remember one time I was home from college, and Neal was in high school, and I dropped him off at school, and he leaned over and gave me a kiss on the cheek. And he said, "Thanks, sis. I love you." It seems like outside. Sorry, this was at high school drop-off. High school drop-off, okay. In front of like. So you got to set the scene. Yeah. And it seems like a small thing, but even in high school, he was never too cool, never too macho, or any of that stuff. That's never been Neal. And the sweet kid grew up to be a sweet man. Someone who has a special and close relationship with our mom, and who Dad would respect and be proud of, as we all are. We all know our dad is raising a glass of Jack Daniels in heaven with a splash of water in celebration with us tonight. And as we all got older, the slight age gap seemed to disappear as we relished in sharing our love of music festivals, Alabama football, and robust debate.
When Neal met Lizzie, we could tell that we were witnessing the beginning of his next chapter. Meeting Lizzie made him ready for the future, lightened his step, and stand taller, if that's even possible. Both casual comedians, they always seem to be cracking each other up and enjoying pastimes like sleeping in and taking terrible photos together. But seriously, they really shine in each other's presence. As a couple, they are calm, smiley, and caring to those they love, especially Sweet Ben, their Aussie doodle. I'll never forget when the world was freaking out those first few days of the pandemic, and I was at the grocery store stocking up on all of the groceries, and everyone had like a panicked look on their face. And I glanced a few checkout lines down, and I saw Neal and Lizzie standing in the checkout line, and they were just laughing at each other, and they leaned over and gave each other a kiss, like nothing else in the world mattered. They really have taken planning a wedding during the pandemic in stride, and with the best attitudes and patience possible.
So on a personal note, I think many of you here know, sisterhood has really become a foundation of our family across generations, and we could not be happier to welcome Lizzie into ours. Lizzie, we welcome you to the mayhem, to the endless birthday dinners, to the big debates, and to the bigger love. And right now, we begin by welcoming you to a lifetime of celebratory champagne toasts. So please raise a glass to Lizzie and Neal. We love you both and wish you a lifetime of endless laughter, lazy Sundays, and full hearts. Cheers. We meant every word.
All right. Ooh. I'm Jack. I'm Lizzie's brother.
Hi, I'm Maggie. I'm Lizzie's sister. And Jack and I wanted to stand up together tonight, similarly to Neal's sisters, because, siblings become a unit and families are a unit in and of themselves, so.
And we're very nervous.
We're so nervous. That's why. Thank you. So this morning, the bridesmaids, we had the incredible privilege and honor to surround ourselves over there somewhere on the grass, and we had a beautiful blessing ceremony in which I shared a Mary Oliver poem, bawled my guts out, and really professed my love to Lizzie. So y'all are not gonna get the full gut version of what was iterated, but I just wanna start with saying that, Lizzie, I am so incredibly grateful for the fact that I have a sister who I can say has become one of my most dear friends in the entire world. And you know me. Sometimes I think you know me a little bit better than I know myself. And you call me out on my things and you lift me up and you support me. And Neal, I love you so much. I'm so happy that you're joining our family and that y'all found each other. But when I was thinking about what I wanted, okay, that's all well and good, but when I was thinking about what I wanted to say, I was thinking about how glad I am that you all found each other. And found each other sort of leads to that language around love that's almost like silver platter, like magic. We found each other, things, as if it's so easy. And the truth is that our parents were not pushing this narrative around love being magic and easy, but I liked fairy tales, I liked princesses, and you just get exposed sort of to this idea that love comes and hits you in the face, and then you're just in love forever, and problem solved, magic, fairy tale, easy. But since I've become more and more adult, what I've realized is that the real magic, especially after this year and a half of tough things that we've all been through, the real magic is people who choose each other and who choose love, which takes courage, self-awareness, vulnerability, sacrifice in all the good ways. There's nothing silver plattery about it, but you choose. And for me, that's actually like the reverse fairy tale, like that human beings want to do that. I just love that, and I think it's so hopeful, and takes a lot of courage, and I'm really happy that you found somebody to embark on all life's journeys with.
All right. I'm a bit more of a planner, so I have some notes. So I'm Jack. I said that. I'm Lizzie's little brother. Been blessed to have two unbelievable big sisters. And I would really say that our relationship we've gotten closer over the years. And I think that is something that's very special and unique, because people grow apart, see each other less, and personalities can evolve. But Lizzie has always been the big sister, someone that's always looking out for the two little siblings. She's always had our back, and this is a role that she's embraced from the get-go. So a little story that Lizzie tells quite a bit is we had a babysitter one time. I was probably 2, Maggie 4, Lizzie 6, and this was a new babysitter for us. And she decided that she would cook us, and she worked very hard on this, like a mayonnaise, cheese, cream casserole. And I see Lizzie's friends. I know y'all realize that is not something that the McCleskey family is going to eat. Maggie and I, we were so little that we, just going to suck it up and eat it. I probably had just thrown the Pretty Pretty Princess game across the room because I had lost. So we were just going to suck it up and eat it, but Lizzie stepped up as the big sister and told the babysitter, hey, we are not going to eat this. And both Maggie and I just did not have the courage to do it. Our eyes were probably wide open, lips quivering, tears in our eyes. So that's a funny story that we tell in our family. But there's really so many examples where throughout the years, Lizzie has been that big sister to me and Maggie. Having our back, protecting us, speaking up for us, and always defending us against situations where we might feel uncomfortable, vulnerable, or threatened. And that has just happened for many years. So Lizzie, thank you for being such a great big sister. Neal, you're very lucky to have someone now who will have your back. And we're so excited to have you in the family and can't wait for the many adventures that we're going to have together. So to that, we will toast to Lizzie and Neal. Cheers.
Hello. Hi, everybody. My name is Jordan Sackett. I've known Neal for a pretty long time. And if you don't know me now, You probably will by the end of this wedding. So, all right. First off, I'd like to thank Dee, who is watching from above, and Jessica for trying one more time for a boy. JJ, or Miss White as you will always be known to me, you have raised a truly great man. I can't thank you enough for bringing me a brother and acting as my second mother. Your influence in people's lives is infectious. Now, Neal, where to start? You are truly sacred to me. So, Lizzie, I hope you can take as good a care of him as his sisters did. Neal, we've been through a lot together. The list seems endless. From school to weekends in Pastor Cheyenne, fun on Pink Street, and that one trip to the Keys which ended in an emergency appendectomy. We've been through a lot, and I'm proud to be standing here today. I cannot express enough what our brotherhood means to me and how you've shaped my life. I am both grateful and lucky to have found a lifelong friend back in second or third grade, I think. First grade? I learn something new every day. I am excited for our future experiences with you and Lizzie as husband and wife. Lizzie, as much as I would like to make this all about Neal, tomorrow's your day. You are a very special lady. I mean, you have to be to score, Neal. And in the time I've gotten to spend with you, I know you two are a perfect match. It's truly special. So with that, I would like everyone to raise their glasses and cheers again, not only to the present, but to the beautiful future both Neal and Lizzie have ahead of them. I can't wait to be a part of it. Now hurry up and have kids.
Hello. All right. Oh man, where to begin? I'm just filled with so much. I just want to say I'm just filled with so much gratitude to be able to be here tonight and to be able to talk a little bit about you guys. And first, to the Whites, Miss White, Jessica, thanks so much for hosting tonight. The McCleskys, it's been wonderful to be able to meet you. I'm gonna rely on my notes heavily here. So I've had the pleasure of knowing Neal from the first day of kindergarten, for more nights than I can count sleeping on the floor in the middle of the White's great room, many weekends in Pass Christian, through formative years of middle school and high school, both living in New Orleans after college and then in San Francisco while Neal was working with Elon Musk at Tesla. We've been best friends throughout, except for an unexplained gap in second grade for a couple of months. We both remember, but neither can explain. I've had the great pleasure of getting to know Lizzie over the course of the last few years, and with a combination of late nights and dinners in Old Metairie, as well as through a series of extended Zoom cocktail hours in the midst of the pandemic, some themed with Settlers of Catan, lasting late into the night for us and even later for y'all. Lizzie, your presence is magnetic. Anybody that knows you has said that, and I was saying to Maggie while we were all standing out there at the rehearsal, you were calming the officiant. You know, your microphone's going to be here, and I just really appreciate that about you and your warmth. I remember a night in particular in Old Metairie when my wife Katie and I came to we went by for a few drinks, and Ben was new to the world and lively at the time. Furniture and decorations were new, and cabinets were freshly organized. Y'all had just moved in. I remember a moment, though, listening to you, Lizzie, as you described a little bit about your thesis you'd written while at Harvard. You were describing some pieces of gender equality and social justice, and Neal was looking wide-eyed and admiring you. And I thought, oh, man, this is it. Neal's found his person. And it was just a really cool moment. But I remember it vividly. And that's not to say, though, that you didn't go through the same delicate dance as all of us do as you get to know each other. I'll tell a brief story from early on. It was just before Neal left San Francisco for his extended trip back to New Orleans. Katie and I had discovered a little bit about the Instant Pot, the butter chicken lady. Do people know about this? New York Times butter chicken lady Instant Pot recipe. This thing's on point. So we cooked this, and we thought it was good, and I think Neal did too. Neal went back to New Orleans and heard from him a few months later that he'd also cooked it, and also got an Instant Pot, and that Lizzie had come over and had it. And so, at least as far as the story goes that I've heard it, it was cooked multiple times a week over the course of the subsequent months. And apparently, by all accounts, it was a huge success, so much so that there was some form of curry. And delicate as this dance was, neither had shared the less pleasant sensations they'd been having with the exotic cuisine. And it sounds like you two had an explosive conversation, and the curry was taken off the weekly menu. But the dance was adjusted, and I think it was a nice beginning of a relationship example. But what a year it's been, and Neal and Lizzie, you didn't just move in together, you quarantined together. And for any couple, that requires a great deal of adjustment as you navigate how to figure out your lives together and not just spend a few hours, but 24 hours sometimes, and even longer. So I think it's really amazing that 2020 for you is going to be looking back on the year you got engaged. And I think that's a really amazing thing. So Lizzie, Neal doesn't need anybody to vouch for him or to say what a great guy is, because I think you all know, and at so many of the speeches tonight I think have echoed that. But I hope you all join me in raising a glass to the couple tonight. Congratulations to you both. Cheers.
Hello. Kathy, do you want to go? Okay. I'm going to do it. Okay. Hello. I am nervous. And I am Margot Bienvenue. And I'm one of Lizzie's bridesmaids. We went to Sacred Heart together our whole lives. And so did some of the other bridesmaids. But they're not going to talk, so I just wanted to say that, because usually people like say how they know the bride. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I think that if I got together, and I think this goes for like all the bridesmaids, okay? I think that if we got together to design a perfect partner for Lizzie, he would be smart, kind, supportive, patient, a good listener. He would value family as much as she does. He would love to travel and be her ride or die on every adventure. He wouldn't be afraid to be silly with her. He would stay up late with her singing show tunes. He wouldn't care how often she did or did not wash her hair. He would do the dishes because she absolutely refuses. And lastly, he would be tall. Please let him be tall. And wouldn't you know it, Neal is all of those things. They are perfect for each other. I mean, look at them. What a good-looking couple. Lizzie, yes, yeah. Lizzie is a classic beauty. She has an effortless grace to her. And Neal is basically a prince from a Disney movie. You know, looking at them, someone might think they're just another attractive couple out of a J. Crew catalog. But looks can be deceiving. These are not cookie-cutter people. They are special, unique, brilliant weirdos. Nerds. Freaks, even. No, not freaks. I'm just kidding. But what do those words really mean? To be comfortable in your own skin, to be yourself and not apologize for who you are. Many of us have known Lizzie since she was young, and she has always been exactly that.
this hilarious, eccentric artist, never afraid to be herself. And I don't know Neal like I know Lizzie, but from what I can tell, he stays true to himself in the same way. Over the past year or two, I have spent many a night catching up with Lizzie over the phone, and when I ask about Neal, I often get the same answer. He is in his lair, playing games on a computer he partially built himself, clicking away and barking tactics at his gaming friends on the other end of his headset. We know him as Neal, but these gaming... Should I do it? But these gaming friends know him by his handle, Gareth. And I had to send this to a few of the girls, and I was like, is this okay? Like, should I go there? I've probably embarrassed him enough, so I'll start to wrap up with a few more words about Lizzie. If you know her, then you know she is a passionate and emotional person. She cries at every wedding, every birthday, every speech, any tender moment, really. We've been joking about waterproof mascara since they got engaged. She loves and feels deeply with her whole heart. It's one of my favorite things about her. Tomorrow, we'll all get to witness that love. See these two weirdos tie the knot and start their lives as husband and wife. Lizzie and Neal, here's to you. We love you, and we're all honored to be here to celebrate with you. Cheers. I didn't know if I was gonna cry. Okay. Yeah. All right.
And Miss Jessica, I wanted to thank you for this lovely evening. And Monique and Bob, thank you for this wonderful wedding that we're about to have tomorrow. I'm very excited about it. I'm a nervous speaker, so this is going to turn into a roast, so prepare yourselves. So, Neal and I grew up together going to Country Day. And it was the natural thing to kind of leave Country Day, cross the train tracks, and go to Neal's house. It was the cool hangout place. You were a cool kid if you could hang out with Neal, right? And there was a crew. The crew's still here. We're intact, right? We were the coolest kids at Country Day, right? We dated the older girls, right? And it was a good time. I think one of the highlights of being able to hang out with Neal is that he had the hottest sisters. Another highlight. Yes. Another highlight was spending the night at Neal's house, and we'd stay up very late, and we'd watch late night HBO together. This is very underage stuff here. So we all know that Neal is, athletic, tall, handsome, all that good stuff. But let's focus on the athlete part. So Neal and I have always played sports together and soccer, and we've always been very competitive. And, I left Country Day in 5th grade, and that's when Neal was able to become the best soccer player at Country Day. Where to begin? Here we go. Neal, the video gamer, and Lizzie, the gorgeous artiste, with serious skills, I might add. I figured out why the wedding's in New Mexico, because there's art everywhere. I know I'm not a big partier, and I have children, and I've kind of matured and grown up, and I'm really looking forward to y'all doing that. And I think that your children are going to be gorgeous. Can't wait to hang out with them. Neal, say bye to your video games when it's time for bottle feeding. There's three words that come to me when I think of Neal. Honesty, faithfulness, and dependability. You've always been there for me when I needed you. Let's raise a glass.
Hello? Okay. Can you hear me? Yes? Okay. Good evening. Or in Italian, buonasera. I'm deeply honored to speak here tonight to celebrate Lizzie and Neal. For those of you who have no clue who I am, I'm Lizzie's friend Kathy from her study abroad program in Cortona, Italy. If I remember correctly, our program started at the airport in Rome. Now, I can't say that I remember the moment we met. Mi dispiace, Lizzie. I do, however, remember the many adventures we shared during our short stint there. Now, there were a lot of weird and wonderful stories, but I'm going to take a moment here to tell you about one of the worst. Picture it, Sicily, 1948. No, actually, Sorrento, 2009. Lizzie and I had just made it to this lovely town, and we were ready for a delicious Italian lunch when we connected with some other friends in our group. As we set out to find a restaurant for our feast, we were hopeful and excited. We started walking past beautiful restaurants and turned to each other with a readiness to sit down and enjoy. Our friends looked less excited. For them, I suppose the trip had felt like months of the dreaded Italian cuisine and dwindling bank accounts. They looked at the pasta, pizza, burrata, and price tags and simply wanted a cheap pub. Sensing that Lizzie shared in my disappointment, I hoped that we would make our escape, but in the name of friendship, we decided to make do with the situation and hope for the best. When we finally found a pub, we sat down and ordered burgers and fries. Fries. They served the burgers hot out of the microwave in those perfect individual plastic wrappers that are the mark of a good burger. The beers appeared to be mixed with a significant amount of water, and the vinegar that I had doused all over my fries had a crew of flies swimming around in it. It was disgusting. After a sufficiently awkward meal, Lizzie was there to try to salvage the afternoon. We peeled away from the group, took a sketchy trek down the mountainside, then went off to enjoy some proper beers. Why did I share this story? Because Lizzie was and is a go-to friend for grand adventures. She doesn't care if it is weird or different. She is open to trying new things. She'll splurge to enjoy the regional specialties, and she'll grit her teeth through the tense moments, but laugh heartily once it is over. Neal, I'm sure you have already had your share of adventures with Lizzie, but I am happy to inform you that as you look towards your future together, know that Lizzie will never make you swallow down fly fries and a watery beer to save a few dollars. But if your adventure does take a turn for microwaved burgers, she will always be there to rescue the day with another adventure and a good beer. Cheers. I don't know who your hand is to. I think it was the last one. I think that's it.
I guess we're done. Oh, okay. All right. We got to walk on here.
So walk in. First, Jessica, I want to tell you thank you so much for putting this all together. The McCluskeys as well, but planning this thing, to someone who's watched some folks plan some weddings, very difficult to do during this time. So thank you very much for including us. Neal and I have been buds for a long time. There's a small funny story about Pastor Shan. Well, first, Neal and I have done a lot of first things together. Family, you and your family have meant so much to me, taught me how to hunt, fish. We played our first tennis match together on the tennis court that your grandfather built, so pretty cool. But Neal's family and our family had a house in Pastor Shannon that y'all have heard about tonight. We had neighboring houses, and there was a little yard in between. And Neal would always say, "Hey, can I spend the night tonight?" And I'd say, "Of course, Neal." And so around 11, we would be like easing into watching Nick at Night for the next 2 or 3 hours. And then around like 1 o'clock, he'd go get in the bed. Well, we'd go upstairs to go to sleep. And then he would get in the bed with my mom and dad because he was scared. Sorry, Neal, I know this is embarrassing. And then after about 30 minutes later, I would hear the door open underneath the house, and I would look out of the window, and he'd be running back to his parents' house. So, Lizzie, I hope you have better luck keeping him in bed at night. Yeah. Sorry, Neal. But again, your family and you have meant so much to me. And I'm so glad that you have finally met Lizzie, who is equally as goofy as you. And Heidi and I are really looking forward to spending time with you guys. And tomorrow is going to be such a special day. And raise a toast to Neal and to Lizzie. Cheers. Love you, big guy.
Thanks, man. I knew that. I was like, you better tell this. Thanks, man. Absolutely. Love you, buddy. Love you, Nate.
I love that he knows your number.
He knows it by heart.
Yeah.